Hi everyone, welcome back to DR Sports. As promised, we do have a roundup show for you today. We couldn't miss it on women's semi-final day, and we have been treated some amazing tennis as we have been all tournament. And I asked Lee actually, I said to him, is this the best Wimbledon you can remember? Now, I'm going to ask that question. Get your answers in the comments. Is this the best 2 weeks of Wimbledon you can remember? I mean, for me, certainly the best I could think of for a long while. Obviously, we had that break because of the pandemic, but I don't know, it just feels like it's been Wimbledon at its best. Every round we've been treated some amazing matchups, some amazing games, and today didn't go away from the norm. It's been absolutely fantastic to watch. Let's talk about it because the women's semi-final was absolutely fantastic. We saw Rybakina and Jabeur book their places in the final on Saturday. Of course, we will be doing a video to cover that. But yeah, I think the tournament's just been absolutely fantastic, and we saw her again today. Why? Because it's been throwing up upsets, it's been throwing up surprises, twists. When you think someone's comfortable, they're not. Everyone I can see that's made it to the semi-finals and final on the singles side of things has been worked at some point to get there, and I think that's what's made this tournament so fantastic. At some point, it looked like every player, their position and their place at Wimbledon could really be hanging in the balance. And today we saw that a little bit on Jabeur because she played Tatiana Maria the first game on centre court. Now, a lot of the narrative around this game was not only about how brilliant their tennis has been, but also about the fact that they're friends off court, and Maria, has had 2 babies and has made it back and is playing. And Jabeur actually said in her post-match what an inspiration she's been for her and many women in the game, which I think is absolutely fantastic to see. On Jabeur, as was mentioned in the interview on court after, an inspiration herself, being the first African to make the women's singles final of a Grand Slam. So major credit to both players, and the fact that they're such great friends off court as well and they know each other's family just made this matchup so special. And I think it's only right it went to 3 sets. It's only right that they pushed each other all the way. But I think what was really interesting about this game is Jabeur just started on fire, just doing what she's been doing all tournament, just very aggressive on the front foot, taking it to teams. There's my football analysis sort of spewing out there, but taking it to her opposition as she has done in all the rounds. And Maria had to sort of respond to that. I mean, she lost the first set 6-2, pretty convincing for Jabeur. But then, I've got the results here, 3-6. Jabeur loses the second set, and Maria came out firing. And she was certainly, I guess, speeding up the points. I guess trying to rally less, come to the net more, mixing it up with drop shots, asking different questions to Jabeur, really imposing herself, playing on the baseline a lot more. And I just thought it made for a really interesting third set because you had both players at some point of the game looking very dominant, looking very confident. But on the flip side, their opponent maybe looking like they lost that confidence a little bit. And Jabeur then responded. I mean, it's amazing what she's going to be a champion one day, whether it's this year or not. She's going to be a Grand Slam champion and maybe a Wimbledon champion. By the way, I'm going to keep mentioning it. Pippa's tip to win it was on Jabeur. But when you look at a player like Jabeur who started well, then has the setback, and you're kind of thinking, she's making unforced errors, she's kind of struggling to get into it. And then she comes flying out and goes 3-love up in the third set. These players have this ability to just switch it on and go, right, another level. And we saw it the other day with Van Rijthoven and Djokovic. Djokovic loses that second set, and you're thinking, okay, he's looked a little outplayed here. How is he going to respond? And he finds a way. And we saw it again 2 sets down to Sinner, and we saw it again with Nadal. And I think Jabeur's got the makings of a champion, because when it looks like she's been kind of comprehensively outplayed in a set, or like her confidence might have gone, she's got that ability to just dig in, find another level. It's almost like she splashes her face with water and off she goes. And a major credit to her. She wins that third set pretty comfortably, 6-1. Again, the aggressor in the second set like she was in the first. And yeah, she's booked her place in the final, which I've got to say, watching her, I had no doubt she would. But I just want to say well done to Maria, who, unseeded, made it as far as she did on a fantastic run. And again, doing it with everything else she's got going on in her life. And, I think it's just uber impressive. So massive credit to her. And I think that was recognised by the centre court crowd and Jabeur, who, invited her to the middle, didn't she? Normally it's the winner of the match who will go to the centre court crowd and sort of embrace the cheers. And for Jabeur to bring Tatiana Maria to the centre of the court and just receive that round of applause and that ovation from the crowd, I think was really, really lovely moment, a really touching moment. So well done to the both of them, and well done to Jabeur, who's made the final, and I think is going to win the whole thing, if I'm honest. But now the more eye-catching of the semi-finals, I think, was this Simona Halep versus Elena. I want to get it right. Elena Rybakina. There was a lot of debate on the actual commentary about how to pronounce her name. So let me know in the comment section. I'm going to go Rybakina personally. But Rybakina served 4 aces, won 71% of points on her first serve, and ultimately fairly eased her way to a 6-3, 6-3 win against Simona Halep, who I got to say I thought was going to make the final, having won the tournament in 2019. She's been there and done it. She's been fantastic, and this game was very much billed as the build-up was all the best server in the women's game versus one of the best returners and one of the best, they call it a counterpunch. And, you know, I get it. When you're being hit with big forehands and big serves, that ability to convert that into a match, you know, into a point winner for you. And Halep's definitely got that in her game. But we didn't really see it. And I don't know what it was with Halep. I don't know whether it was nerves or whatever. For whatever reason, she couldn't quite get into it. But let's credit Rybakina, who was absolutely fantastic. Again, we saw her big serve play out there, not just with the aces, but with the amount of points she won on her first serve. You know, she wasn't phased by the occasion as you know, either. She was mixing it up with a few drop shots, trying to keep the points short. She doesn't want to rally too long with a player like Simona Halep. But I thought she was fantastic. And when she was broken, I think she was broken once. Let's just have a little look here. Break points. So Simona Halep got 1 break point all game and actually converted it, whereas Rybakina had 9 in the game, which just shows you that Halep was far more vulnerable on her serve. She couldn't really get going. She couldn't get into that rhythm. And in fact, twice she was broken because she actually double faulted. Which, listen, if I'm being blunt, if I'm being quite rude, actually, that's just not good enough at this level. But then at the same time, I think it's the immense pressure that's put on you when you're not the best server yourself and you're playing against someone who's got a tremendous serve. You know those break points aren't going to come as often. And you also know that you've got to be pretty immense on your serve. And I don't think Halep was able just to rise to Rybakina's level. They did go in the 16th seed and 17th seed, so they're always going to be an interesting matchup. But I think just on the grass, it maybe suited Rybakina's game a little bit more. And yeah, having dropped, I think Rybakina dropped a set yesterday, if I'm right. There's so many results every day. I'm just having a little look. Yes, she did. She dropped the first set to Tomljanovic, but she hit 15 ace in the game, so her ace wasn't quite on point today. But again, you're playing against Simona Halep, so maybe that's a part of it as well. But yeah, 23 years old, Rybakina's booked her place in the final, and I think that's going to be a really great matchup because you got Jabeur, who can do a little bit of everything, and is a very powerful player herself. But you got Rybakina, who's got the big serve, and yeah, has just done brilliantly. I mean, we're looking at her run. I think she's only dropped, she's only dropped 1 set en route to the final. So big credit to her. And actually, if I just have a little look, I shouldn't really be doing research mid-video, but we just have a little look. I think this might be the first time she's reached a slam. Yeah, she reached the French Open quarterfinals last year, but this is the first time she's reached a slam final, so best of luck to her. I think it's going to be a really interesting matchup on Saturday, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how they both do. I think Jabeur will nick it, but I think Rybakina's got that game that suits the grass, and actually I think that could be a really interesting matchup. Let's have a little look at the other semi-finals just very quickly. Tomorrow, Cameron Norrie will play Novak Djokovic. Now, let's just see if that's... Alright guys, just when I thought I could put the tennis down for 1 second, some breaking news has come through that Rafael Nadal has had to pull out of Wimbledon due to the abdominal injury that he picked up in his real battle against Taylor Fritz on centre court yesterday. It's a real shame. He was lined up to play Nick Kyrgios as the second game of the 2 semi-finals on centre court. He won't be able to. First and foremost, we hope he's alright. He's said that, you know, he can't risk the injury getting worse and missing 2-3 months of no competition. Obviously, the US Open does come around pretty quickly, to be fair. So, you know, he's thinking about the long term. I completely understand that. From a tennis perspective and for the spectators, it is a real shame because we were excited to watch a great match. Rafael Nadal had the opportunity to, well, battle Kyrgios for a place in the final. Imagine another Nadal-Djokovic final, but even that game alone in the semis would have been absolutely mouth-watering, and we were all excited for it. But I understand he's got to put his health first. I think it raises questions. It raises questions about medical timeouts, how many you should be allowed, you know, how injured you have to be before you have to pull out of the game. We know adrenaline and painkillers can get you through, but obviously Taylor Fritz will feel a little unfortunate. Look, he lost the game, Taylor Fritz, fair and square. So you can't exactly argue that he deserves to be in that semi-final, but then his performance was brilliant, and we'd rather see another semi-final and, you know, the player who lost out, you know, the unlucky loser or whatever, however they phrase it, maybe be allowed to go and progress on and play. They do that in other rounds of tennis when it comes to qualifiers and stuff. Why not do that again? So listen, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not saying they should do this or should do that, but I would want to see a second semi-final. I'd want to see someone give Kyrgios that, you know, that battle to get to the final. And the reason I say is, listen, you can say that the integrity of the sport is maybe slightly spoiled if a player who's lost in a previous round is allowed to go through, but that Nick Kyrgios is going to have an extra couple of days off and rest and bye to the final. So is that necessarily fair? So it throws up a lot of questions about how these things should be dealt with. First of all, I do want to also mention that, you know, Rafael Nadal, you know, battled through the injury. It was unbelievable, but yeah, it's a shame. It's just a shame. I don't know what the right thing is. You let us know in the comment section below. I would like to see Taylor Fritz be given the opportunity, but that's not on the cards, and Kyrgios is through to the final. But maybe it sparks a discussion about a shake-up going forward. Just my thoughts, but look guys, people who've been watching it longer will know better and will be able to let me know why you can or can't do certain things, so I look forward to reading it all in your comments. But that's the news guys. Rafael Nadal's pulled out of Wimbledon because of the abdominal injury against Taylor Fritz, and Kyrgios is into the final where one of Cameron Norrie or Novak Djokovic await him. That Sunday is going to be brilliant. I look forward to it.